The grass blurred under their feet as Sunny, Lumo, Bobo, and Lulu raced toward the center of the park.
Laughter echoed off the surrounding trees, but the rhythm of the run fractured when Sunny skidded to a sudden, dirt-spraying stop. He pulled up short before a dense, overgrown bush, his head tilting toward the shadows beneath the tangled leaves. A strange, rhythmic glow pulsed from the dark interior, casting long, flickering shadows against the bark. The others slowed, breathless, clustering behind him as the air grew oddly still. Sunny reached into the thicket, his fingers brushing against something cool and vibrating. He pulled his hand back, and there it was. A single feather, shimmering like molten gold, held the light as if it were alive. It thrummed against his palm, a steady, low-frequency pulse that made the leaves around them tremble. The park had gone silent. The sunlight seemed to drain away, leaving only the brilliant, hypnotic glow radiating from the plume. Sunny stared at the object, his breath hitching, as the realization set in. This was not part of the park. This was something else entirely. The feather didn't just drift, it reacted. Before Sunny could close his grip, it twitched, snapped free from his fingers, and spiraled into the open air. Sunny lunged, his paws swiping at the empty space. But he caught nothing but wind. He stumbled, his feet tangling in his own haste, and he pitched forward,
landing nose first into a patch of dandelions. White fluff exploded into the air around his head. Bobo, Lumo, and Lulu broke into loud, rhythmic laughter as Sunny scrambled back to his feet,
sneezing and shaking his head. The glowing plume was already bobbing away,
maintaining a steady altitude as it drifted toward the far edge of the park. They took off after it, their pace frantic and joyful.
As they ran, they realized the feather wasn't traveling alone. Behind it, a trail of smaller, multicolored feathers appeared, scattered across the paved pathway like breadcrumbs. Each one pulsed faintly, echoing the golden glow of the leader. The group surged forward, weaving between trees and benches, their eyes locked on the rhythmic bobbing of the light. They were no longer just running through the park. They were following a deliberate path that led them deeper into the unknown. The trail of feathers terminated at a wall of towering sunflowers, their heads bowed as if guarding the perimeter. Beyond them, the park vanished. Hidden in the deep shade stood a treehouse, its wood gray and warped by years of exposure. The ropes hung loose, and the windows were frosted with grime. The group slowed, the silence of the garden pressing against their ears. Sunny stepped forward, his eyes fixed on the structure. He reached out, planting a paw against a gnarled vine wrapped tightly around the base of the trunk to steady his balance. His weight shifted, pressing down on a flat, moss-covered stone. A sharp, rhythmic click echoed through the clearing. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, the earth beneath them shivered. A low, grinding groan rose from the roots as the heavy wooden door, long fused to its frame, began to peel away. Dust drifted from the cracks, swirling in the stagnant air. The door swung inward on rusted hinges, revealing a slice of absolute darkness that defied the afternoon sun. The friends stood frozen, their breath catching as the entrance to the forgotten space yawned open, waiting. They crossed the threshold, one by one. The air inside tasted of dry paper and stagnant time. Sunny led the way, his pulse thrumming against his ribs as his eyes strained to pierce the gloom. As they moved deeper, the dust motes settled, and the dim light filtered through the cracks to reveal a central workbench. It was massive, carved from solid oak, and covered in layers of brittle debris. Sunny swiped his paw across the surface, clearing a space. There, pinned beneath a rusted iron weight, lay a sprawling, hand-drawn map. Lumo leaned in, his breath hitching. It was their town, rendered in precise, flowing ink. But the familiar streets were obscured by strange, glowing icons they had never seen before. Symbols of jagged caves, winding subterranean tunnels, and groves hidden behind impossible geography covered the parchment. Bobo reached out, his fingers hovering inches above the paper, afraid to touch the impossible reality laid out before them. They shifted their weight, circling the table, tracing the lines of their own neighborhood now transformed into a landscape of secrets. Every icon pulsed with a faint, rhythmic intensity. The realization hit them with the force of a physical blow. Their town was merely a shell, and the world beneath it was far wider and more dangerous than they had ever dared to imagine. The golden feather, still drifting in the stagnant air, descended slowly toward the center of the workbench. It landed with the weight of a falling star right atop the jagged icon of the deepest cave. The moment the tip touched the parchment, the ink flared. A ripple of luminescence surged outward from the contact point, tracing the hidden tunnels like a pulse of golden blood. The entire surface of the map ignited, the lines shifting and knitting themselves into a complex, moving grid of light. The friends drew back, shielding their eyes as the glow intensified, spilling over the edges of the table and casting long, dancing shadows against the walls. The room itself seemed to expand, the wooden beams vibrating with a low, harmonic hum. Lumo pointed toward a specific glowing grove on the outskirts of their town, his finger trembling. The light didn't just illuminate the paper. It projected a shimmering path that stretched out through the door and into the garden beyond. They looked at each other, the fear of the unknown replaced by a sharp, singular focus. The boundary between their ordinary lives and the world of secrets had vanished. Sonny gripped the edge of the workbench, his resolve hardening. The map was no longer a drawing, it was a promise. They stood at the brink of the uncharted, and with one synchronized step, they moved toward the light.